Hello, everyone. It is Misha Green, DC editor. I am happy, in a sense, to be talking to Konan today about a lot of stuff. Obviously, he has been such a game changer for me in my career, and always somebody I've looked up to. So I'm really excited in that sense. But I'm really bummed about the conversation that we have to have, which is justice for Jade. Jade is his baby girl. And a lot went down that, from hearing everything, from reading a couple reports, and reading some stuff that I've been sent was not supposed to go down for his baby girl. So we're going to talk about that today. But you guys know the drill. What we got to do first, share the stream. Please share this stream. This one in particular is really, really important to do so. Because we got to find justice for Jade, and we will not stop until this happens. So please tune in. Look, I'm about to share mine now, and then we'll get this conversation started. How are you doing in the meantime, though?
I'm good. I'm fighting every day. I cry every morning so I can get that out of my system, and then I kind of start my day, and I go through a routine of, I gave enough time for them to reply, respond, and at least answer my letters, interact with me, and it's dragged on enough. So now I'm on social media every day, letting them know that I'm tired of waiting for the answers. I want the answers now, and enough is enough. I'm not for the games.
I loved when we spoke the other day on the phone. You said, yeah, they got the right one this time. We'll start from the very beginning, but I do want to say that it seems like there's a lot of cover up going on, particularly with the West Palm Beach Police Department. And so, I really, really admire you for going to Florida, being rock star dad, and ensuring that you are fighting for Jade's legacy and her justice. So let's start from the beginning. First of all, just tell us about Jade, the beautiful artist, dancer, and person that she was, and your best friend, of course. So just tell us all about Jade.
Well, Jade was a person who had big dreams. She was phenomenal in dance, and she started dance at a late age from what her teacher said. Between age of 9 and 10 is when she really got focused on dance, and she started out dancing kids that had been dancing since they were 5 years old. So she danced away in the Baltimore School of the Arts, because you have to audition and you have to go through routines to get in there. Then every summer she found places that she wanted to go, and she danced away into Washington Ballet School, which is in Washington, D.C. That program was a very expensive program, but it was summer intensive. So for the program itself, it's $2,500, and then just to be on American University campus is another $2,500. She did that for 2 summers. Then she found a place called Youth Ballet in Silver Spring. She danced away into that. So of course, with Washington Ballet School, it was kind of tricky, because what I would do is I would get up at 7 in the morning the first year, because she didn't stay on American University campus, because I was a little nervous about that. So the first year in the summer, I would put her and Jackson in a car, and I would drive her at 7 in the morning to Washington Ballet School, because she had to be there by 9, but she would have to get there early, because I would have to turn right back around and drive to Silver Spring, through Silver Spring over by American University, and drive back so I could be at the radio station on time. But I would have to drive back and drop Jackson off, and then get to the radio station, and then drive back and pick her up. So the second year I was like, listen, you're just going to stay on campus at American University. I'm just be up there all weekend, every weekend, to make sure nothing's going on. But I'm just saying that to say that she was very talented, but very passionate about being involved in something that she loved. She met Misty Copeland, so that was really another inspiration for her. So she visited Juilliard, and she visited Alan Haley's schools in New York. Juilliard wanted her to come, so she was just taking a break when all this happened, and she was going to get back into her dance. She wanted to open a dance studio. It was just a whole lot that she had on her mind. She wanted to do this. We were working on, in 2016, we started working on like a clothing line for her. I had a guy do some mark drawings for her clothes and stuff like that. And it was like workout outfits, swim stuff, and lingerie. But that was something we kept putting off, and we're gonna do. So she said when she got older, she wanted to at least have 2 kids. That's not going to be able to happen now. That's another thing that really gets me choked up, because she had dreams on what she wanted her family to be like, and things when she got older. And she said, not anytime soon, Dad, but I at least want 2 kids, and I guess I won't be having those grandkids now. But I'm just those are the things that really fuel me, knowing that she had so much promise, and at 20 years old, she's no longer here. And the toughest thing for me was to tell her brother, who's 10 years old, that she's never coming home again. So it's a lot that goes through my mind every day, and that's what I meant by they got the right one, because I'm not one of those parents that's going to walk away or let them say, oh, well, we're going to do this, and they're not going to do it. I'm already willing to sell my house and everything else that I have in order to be down here in Florida until I get the answers that I need.
And just for the people who are just tuning in, you are in Florida right now.
I'm in Florida right now. I've been in Florida going on the 2nd week. I'm gonna be here for a month. I'll be here for a year. I know a lot about everybody that's involved. I've been writing. When my daughter passed in police custody, the first thing I did is I wrote the governor, I wrote the mayor, and I wrote the police chief. And that was in right at the end of June, going into July. The only person to this day that has responded or sent any condolences was Governor Ron DeSantis. He wrote back. The Attorney General, I wrote her the second after the first letter went unanswered by the police department. I wrote Ashley Moody, the Attorney General, and I'd have everybody's names in my head, their addresses, where their locations are, because I've written several letters. Ashley Moody wrote me back, sent her condolences. She said she would forward my stuff to the state attorney. And then I wrote the law enforcement agency, which is up in Tallahassee, where the governor's office is and where Ashley Moody's office is. And they wrote me back, sent their condolences, and said, once they looked at it, they said they will give them a chance, the police department, to do an internal affairs investigation. And if they didn't give me any answers, then get back with them. So now it's time for me to get back with them, because it was funny when I talked to Deputy Chief Morris. He promised me, I'm going to look at this. I'm second in command. Chief Adderley gave me the go ahead. Heads will roll. If I see something wrong, I'm going to look at the video. I'm going to get back with you, and I'm going to give you a copy of the video. I said, well, you called me, but have you looked at my letter? Did you read my letter? Well, he didn't call me. He called her mom, and she put us on 3-way. So he said, no, I didn't look at the letter. I said, so if you didn't look at the letter, you don't know what you're supposed to be investigating, do you? He said, we're going to do an internal affairs investigation. He said, once he looks at the video, he will forward me everything that has to do with the case. And that's where we were. So after that, I said, okay, well, I'm waiting to see if this is in July. I called his number. They gave me a number, a 561 number. I called that number 3 times, left 3 different messages. I called for Officer Bell, who was the officer on the case, left several messages for him. I called Detective Branch, who was supposed to be the lead detective on the case. I called, left several messages for him. 0 calls back, 0 acknowledgement from any of them. And, I wrote another letter to the governor after that. The governor replied, still no reply from West Palm Beach Police Department at all. No acknowledgement whatsoever. not even a condolence, not even sending a sympathy or anything. On July 13th, after the governor replied to my letter at 9:49 a.m. in the morning, my certified green card came back stamped that he had received it at 9:39. On July 13th, I got my first phone call from a female by the name of Deputy Chief West. And she started asking me a bunch of questions about my letter. And I said, well, you read my letter? She said, well, Chief Adderley, who has not responded at all or even come to the phone like they said he would one time, told her to give me a call. So she asked me all these questions about what I wrote in my letter. She said, how do you know all this stuff? Because you weren't here. But she doesn't know I had at least 5 different people, including investigators, looking into stuff for me. So at that point, I just said, ma'am, I would rather let my lawyer answer those questions. I thought you were calling to tell me that you were giving me the information, not interrogate me.
Right.
And she said, well, now you can let whoever needs to know that you got your phone call. Because in my letter to the governor, I addressed the fact that I've never received a phone call even to let me know my daughter had passed in their custody. The homeowner was the person that called. The police detectives, nobody ever called to say that she was gone.
Wow.
Her mother had to call around and find out where her body was even being held. They never acknowledged any of that. So that's a thing that really let me know something just isn't right.
I definitely am shocked to hear that they've given you this runaround. But again, we've seen it play out time and time again where the police protect their own. Can you just take it back a little bit for us and let us know, for those that are just tuning in? And obviously, I know this is really difficult, so you don't have to give moment by moment, but just what you share with me over the phone in terms of what happened, leading up to when she passed was so horrifying. Do you mind sharing a bit of that information?
No, I don't mind sharing it all. I mean, I sent her down here to Florida for rehab. The rehab place was behavioral health. It was a $30,000 program that she went through. It was inpatient. She was out, and after she finished, she completed it. Her boyfriend that she met down here was in a program, and the counselor, a guidance person, said they didn't advise her going out with someone who had been through, well, she was down for anxiety, depression, and opioids, and they said that the person she met, she shouldn't be with. And so I, talked to her about that, but she was 20 years old, so
know how that goes.
Yeah, she already knew. But what happened is her boyfriend, and it's stated in the report, called for 911 for medical assistance. Officer Robert shows up and blocks the car, from what we were told. And in a driveway, she was in a driveway, and in the video you'll see they remove her from the vehicle, which was on its way to the hospital. And, it goes downhill from there. But my question to them is, if she was on her way to the hospital and you were called for a medical emergency, either assist her and get her to the hospital, or get out of the way and let the car go to the hospital. And that's where the problem lies with me, is that once she's in your custody, you're supposed to make sure she gets to the hospital. I drove to the hospital from the location where she passed, and it took me 3 minutes to get up the street. If you Google 3000 Greenwood Avenue and St. Mary's Hospital, you will see that she was at the end of the block. At the end of Greenwood Avenue is St. Mary's Hospital. And anyone that is viewing this right now can Google the distance and see that if she would have got to the hospital, it's a possibility that my daughter would still be here. And the thing that bothered me the most is that on the phone, they seemed as if they were going to cooperate And after they got off the phone, I never heard back from anyone that I was trying to contact. And they never called me after I asked questions. They always called her mom. They talked to my lawyer once. And after we got, after I got fed up and said, okay, now I want all the answers. I want everything. I want everything I've been asking for in my letters. And next thing you know, my lawyer said, I told my lawyer, I said, something just doesn't seem right. Something just doesn't feel right. I'll say this because, I know that God is real and the spirits are real. I was cutting the grass one day and I had to tell her mom, I said, Jade came to me. Jade said, Dad, catch them like you always caught me.
Mm.
And I had to stop cutting the grass. And I went in the house and I told her, I said, I got to find out what's going on now because, that was in August that I really, 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 I go to the park, I work out, I pray, I take my shoes off and run in the grass at the end of my workouts and do sprints. And when that happened, I started calling and I started sending out letters. And the next thing I know, my lawyer said, hey, they lawyered up. The lawyer called me and said, I got to deal with the lawyer from now on. I was like, well, why would they get lawyers if they were already told me everything was fine and they were going to send me the unedited video? Never happened. So
wow. And you did receive a very short edited video, but it was one police officer.
I never received it. You know what they did? Fox News and the Baltimore Sun got a hold of the story in Baltimore, and Fox 5 in West Palm Beach ran it. What they did is they edited an 8-minute and 56-second video and left out 30 minutes of the video and edited the video they sent, made it look like they thought I was going to go away. I think they try to make it look like they were doing something. But when I found out from eyewitnesses and people in that area that how long the police were in that area, because I came straight, I drove straight down here. They didn't know that because I never contacted them to let them know I was down here on the ground checking out stuff. The neighbors, everybody said, man, police were here until almost 6 a.m.
Wow. And what time did this happen?
12:28 a.m.
Wow.
And you know how much their body cam, they only gave Fox. We got it from the news station. They never gave it to us, but they only gave them 8 minutes and 56 seconds. The police that arrived on the scene were on the scene from at least 12:28 to almost 1:30. The body cams, the report that we have that we were able to dig up says that she was pronounced dead at 1:30. So how come you only have 8 minutes and 56 seconds of video?
Wow.
And that's all I've been asking for is the unedited video for the half hour or other hour or the other time it's missing. And that's when the lawyer called my lawyer.
And on top of it, the angle that's been going around of this body cam footage is from one police officer.
Just one. There were 9 to 11 police officers there. And that neighbors and people that were around said allegedly there were 9 to 11 police officers. They said the cars were all the way up their street.
Wow. So there's so much that sounds wrong from this. As a journalist, I'm not supposed to be pointing it out, but can you tell us what justice we're demanding for? What are the things that we need to be fighting for as you're down there on the ground?
Well, one of the things I'm fighting for is true answers. I mean, if you know that it's a medical emergency call, why 9 to 11 police officers who could have been in other areas doing investigating criminal activity or something like that? Officer Bell, whose beat it was, I found that out. I called him several times, never got a call back from him, but I found out that he was the person that wrote the report, but the person that wrote the report came in the middle of the incident. Their report doesn't even start from the very beginning of what happened. The paperwork my lawyer received says reporting officer unknown at the bottom of the report. And my lawyer is just like, well, who doesn't sign their name to a report when they do a report? So there's a lot of missing things here, and I'm just hurt and upset. But like I said, they got the right one, because I'm not. If I got to live down here for an extended period of time, that's where I'm going to be. I mean, I'm already looking into selling my house and some other stuff, because I'm not going to walk away. I mean, I'm not disappearing. I'm not. And until I get the unedited true video, I'm not going anywhere, and I'll be here in forever. If I would hate to leave Maryland. I love Maryland, but I'm not going back up. I'm not going back up the road until I get my answers. And they were promised to me by the chief, Frank Adderley, Deputy Chief Morris, and then they haven't come through. To get lawyers after you promise the footage, after we do our internal investigation, we're going to turn everything over to you. And after you do your internal investigation, you find out you need to hire lawyers. That's a little odd to me. That's all.
And there's a lot else that they haven't done. For example, giving you back her belongings, her cell phone, those kinds of things as well, correct?
Yeah, they said they were going to give us a cell phone back in July, the first week of July. We still haven't got the cell phone back. Still haven't. Some of her personal stuff that was at the house, we snuck into town and went back in a week or so after that, and got all that stuff. But yeah, they haven't sent us, and I'm I can't say this, so I'm going to be careful of how I say it, because I know that my lawyer has to certain things he can talk about that I can't talk about. But it was kind of weird that I believe, I'm trying to make sure I say this right, so I don't have them say I said something that I know, because I don't know this, but I do know that examiners, coroners, and police departments kind of coordinate efforts to get things right. And I don't know what they are still coordinating, because I haven't seen a coroner's report or a toxicology report or anything that I was supposed to have after she passed. So there's a lot of things that are missing that I know that for a fact that I should have received, that I haven't received, including her cell phone. I bought her cell phone, which was the iPhone 11. That was $800, and she just wanted the new phone, and they haven't returned that yet. They said they were mailing that in second week of July. Still haven't got it.
It's crazy. I think that from the story that you told me and from little things that I've heard, I can't separate the potential of the police's reaction being racially charged. Do you mind breaking down any of their sort of reaction based off of eyewitness that would make one say they didn't care about this Afro-Latina girl?
Well, her boyfriend, and I can say this because it's did happen. Her boyfriend said that they were questioning her ethnicity as soon as they walked up. What is she? Is she black? Is she white? What is she? And then when he said she was Latino and African American, it was like, oh well. And he said just the treatment just completely changed, and that's what her boyfriend said. So.
And in terms of just immense disrespect, like you said, she was laying there for hours.
She laid in the front yard until after 6 in the morning. I do know that for a fact. Then at 2 hours after she passed, they just put a sheet over and left her there. They called a company called Elite Removal. I did my own due diligence and found that out. They didn't give us any information. They've to this day, they've never called. To this date, have not called to say your daughter's deceased.
What? Wow. Wow.
They never called to let us know that our daughter passed, especially in their custody.
Mm.
And they will never be able to produce any record to show that they've called us or responded to any of my letters. And all of my letters went certified, so they signed for each one of my letters that got there.
Wow. You know, I again just admire the fact that you're even able to talk about this, that you're coming out there and sharing Jade's story and sharing your story. In an ideal world, what are next steps? Is getting that footage, I know. But what are next steps? Would you like to see some sort of prosecution of the officers?
What I like to see is the Attorney General and the governor stepping along with the law enforcement agency and do a full investigation or clean sweep. The people that are there, you know, it always starts at the head. The mayor just got there in 2019. He came from someplace else. The police chief was in Fort Lauderdale and a couple other places and was dismissed or removed, should I say, and now is there. So all the people that I'm looking for answers for have only been there less than a year. The mayor's up for re-election another 3 or 4 years. I'll probably be living in West Palm by that time because I have plans on making sure that this doesn't happen to anybody else's family, ever, ever, ever. And I got breath in my body.
I mean, you have such an amazing platform, obviously. You know, it's shocking to me that the officers and that the West Palm Beach government in general is moving so slow with someone with such a platform. You have not been quiet at all on your Instagram and on your social media. You know, it's just amazing to me. And again, I so admire you for being so open about this. But, you know, I guess it's a bad question to ask, but do they know who you are?
I think they're gonna find out because I'm not one of those parents to go away. And I've been blessed. You know, I've been a vessel of God. God has used me for plenty of things, and I cry every morning because the love that I get from Baltimore and West Palm Beach is incredible, and just the people around the country that you know, from California to New York and other people that are hitting me and encouraging me. I'm thankful for that, but yeah, I think they thought I was just going to go away. They were going to sweep this under the rug, and it was somebody nobody cared about, and that we don't care. That, you know, once in a while, because at one point I was trying to give them a chance because everybody said, well, you know, COVID-19 and this, that, and the other, give them some time. I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna give them a week. I'm gonna give them a week. I'm gonna give them another week. I'm gonna give them another week. And then after a while, I just got tired of being ignored. I was like, listen, y'all not going to just ignore me and push me aside. Like, you know, people don't matter. It's all about humanity. It's all about principle. It's all about, you know, being I'm sure those guys, police officers, Frank Adderley, the chief, I'm sure Morris, I'm sure Mayor Keith James are either parents, grandparents, or somebody's son at one point. So don't act like my daughter wasn't cared for by somebody. So now you push my button, so now I'm pushing back, and I'm not going nowhere. So, you know, I don't know what they thought, but they're about to find out.
Well, we got a lot of people tuning in right now who are just showing so much support and love for you right now. I want to make sure that some of their voices are heard as we're.
I love all of them. I'm loving all.
And guys, just so you all know, even if he's not seeing all this now, please continue putting the comments and all of your support because it can be seen forever. So please.
I'll tell y'all what y'all do. Y'all call the mayor's office and call the Frank Adderley, call the police department and ask them why they telling everybody. One of the things that lets me know they paying attention now is that what they were responding to people's posts saying, "Oh, it was public information. It was this. It was that." No, tell the truth. If it was public information, how come you never sent it to me? You never sent it to me, and I've been asking. I got letters. I got all my certified letters. Never. Not only did you never send it to me, you never even acknowledged the fact that my daughter passed. So you can tell everybody it was public information. Oh, somebody showed me a text, somebody from the police, and it was a box. I mean, it was one of those texts that you just cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste. Oh, that's blatant misinformation, or that is they didn't want to pay $110 or whatever. Man, I would. Money is not an option at this point for me at all. I'm spending right now. I'm spending money I probably won't have. And I can't take it with me. I'm willing to sell my house. I don't know what they talking about. Talk about somebody. It was public information. I've been asking for it. Give it to me if it's public information. I don't even have an autopsy or toxicology report. I don't have my daughter's cell phone. So if it was so easy to give me something, just give it to me.
Right. And for those watching, and you may not see it pop up, or you may, there's a petition you can sign right in the comments, as well as the information to call these people, contact their offices. The same thing that we're doing, trying to get justice for Breonna Taylor and calling in Louisville, you can call West Palm Beach and do the same for justice for Jade. And let's hashtag this, let's put it all around the internet, social media, and whatever you can do, put it, let this be a conversation that's in households all over, because we need to get justice for Jade. I got to ask, heartbreakingly enough, I know you're not the only parent going through something like this right now. Have other parents reached out to you who've had similar experiences where police have tried to cover up things as they try to find the truth?
Well, I've had people reach out to me that have gone through things. I've had people encourage me, and it's overwhelming at the same time, heartfelt, and I'm thankful that people are saying, well, keep going, or it couldn't be me. I'm glad that you are fighting, because there's other people that has gone through this that gave up, because what people don't know is that when police departments hire lawyers to take over something that they said was not unjust, the taxpayers and the state pay for those lawyers. So those lawyers can last for years. And that's why some of these cases you're hearing about now all of a sudden are getting solved years later, because people get, they run out of money. I'm like I said, I'm willing to sell my house. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not going back up the road until something happens. And I'll be down here every day. My posts will only be about this until they say, okay, enough is enough. Give him the real footage that we've been keeping. Because as soon as it happened, I knew, one of the things that I knew for sure was that I had to send in my letter that I wanted the 911 call preserved. I wanted the body cams preserved. I wanted all the officers on the scene. I wanted their stuff preserved. I wanted the in-car dash cam of Officer Roberts preserved. I put all those things. So if they get rid of any of this stuff, then that's really a problem. Because my lawyer, I talked to my lawyer yesterday. He said, "Oh yeah, they tried to send me the same body cam footage and then one camera with 1 minute of footage." I was like, 1 minute of footage? Just 30 minutes missing. Stop playing games, because I'm not for the games. I'm not going nowhere. So later on, I'll take a picture of the front of the building. I need people to really let them know that they need to stop with the games. And it's really inhumane for me to see that officers, after they put on a badge, can turn into these people that don't care about human life, especially Black or Latino human life. It is crazy to me. I watched kid walk down the street with an assault rifle who just shot people and nothing. They talking to him, throwing him water. And now my daughter, all she wanted was some help. She was on her way to the hospital. On her way to the hospital, pulling out the driveway of the house. And you take her out the car. Well, she's already on her way. She's already in distress, and you take her out the car. Like, and it shows on the video, but they try to edit a video to make it look like they did something. Videos don't start in the middle of like that with everybody's hands already on somebody trying to act like they're doing something. No, I want the unedited version. Just like going to the movie, I want the unedited version. I want all of it.
Yeah,
all 30 minutes of it.
No, for sure. And I want to ask, just out of respect to you, for all those tuning in, are we able to screenshot your post and share? How do we share that you feel comfortable with doing?
You can share whatever you like, and y'all, you everybody can say whatever's in their mind that they think. Is just certain things I can't say because I have lawyers that are working on this. They say whatever. I say what I know right now. I know I hurt every day. I know this is all I do every day. I don't think about anything else except this. And you know, Erica Kane and Marcy Crump, I love them. I thank them. They are helping. Erica's helping with the GoFundMe because my lawyer said, and I told my lawyer, I said, man, I don't want to seem like I can't do this. And he was like, listen, man, your legal fees gonna go through the roof in a minute. He said, because just you being down there and you doing your thing, he said, you gotta pay for that. I was like, well, you know, I'm gonna sell my house, but I do have the GoFundMe in my bio on my Instagram, but it's not. It's for what I'm doing right now. You know, that's it. I'm gonna get choked up in a minute here, but I can't believe that I'm going through this. I really care. Every day I be thinking up like it's got to be a dream. Just for them to be people like these people out here that can do this to somebody and then just act like it never happened or act like you're gonna go away after a while. We're just gonna ignore you and you're gonna go away after a while. No, when you ignore me, you push my buttons. It's just like any female, if they call you a couple of times and you ignore them, next time you see them, you're gonna know that you pushed their buttons by ignoring them. And that's what they did for me. This is a driving force for me. If they would have just gave me what I wanted, I wouldn't be here. They didn't even know I was in town until I told people. Nobody knew I was down here. I've been down here for going on 2 weeks now.
Wow. You know, I know we're wrapping up on time, but I do want to talk about your family for a bit. You said the hardest thing was to tell your 10-year-old son she was not coming home. I can't imagine. My siblings are 12 and 17 and a half years older than me. And that age gap means nothing, right? Your kids were 10 years apart, right? That means nothing. That bond and that sibling bond is everything. How is your family coping right now?
Oh my God. The hardest thing was it took me 2 to 3 weeks to figure out how to tell Jackson that his sister's never coming home again. And I really don't know how he's dealing with it. I called a psychiatrist and talked to them, and they were like, well, you know, it may not process right now, but it will. When I told him, I just said, well, you know, I didn't know how to word it. So I just told him, I said, well, you know, Jade's dead. She's not ever coming home again. He just put his head in my chest and just hugged me real tight. So I was like, man. And after that, he's like, well, all right, Dad. He said, I'm gonna go back in my room. I said, okay. I said, you want to talk about it? He said, no. He just said no, real short, and went back in his room. I looked in his room. He was sitting there looking at his TV, playing his video game. But I can never understand how he might be processing it because I know how I deal with it every day. And you know, if the old me would have came out, I wouldn't have been coming down here to talk. I would try to work things out. So I pray to God every day that I'm just able to fight this the right way. And, you know, for them to dismiss me and ignore me is what really fueled me. And just praying to my daughter and meditating and trying to talk to my daughter every day. She just, when it was just so clear to hear her voice to say, just catch them like you always caught me. That was it.
I mean, you're doing that though. I am here and all of the people here and watching, and I'm sure your large village of people wrapping their arms around you. You are working to catch them like you caught her. And again, just admire your fight. I admire your strength. As someone put here, Sham Jones said, "There's no words to describe when a parent loses a child," and that's absolutely the case. But I just give you so much props, and thank you for not letting her legacy die on June 28th and really fighting for her continuously. I'm just going to shout out a couple of the people who have said things in the comments. Sham, I hope I'm saying your name right. Sham Jones, who has been a very outspoken person throughout this interview. Thank you for tuning in. He says, "The whole unedited truth, footage plus evidence of the events as promised from Detective Frank Adderley and Deputy Chief Morris, plus Jade's personal items of Jade's should be received. Where's the coroner toxicology report? Where's her cell phone?" Thank you, Sean. Angela Marie says, "Wow, so hard to hear all of this. It really makes me question, how can some people be so heartless? We care, hashtag justice for Jade." Absolutely. Sham is encouraging us all to please use our social media platforms to create content, memes, videos, blogs, podcasts to help out and help get the word justice for Jade to make this plight go viral. Larry Brown says, "Praying for you and your family." I feel like I missed one because I had seen something earlier that I'm now not seeing any longer. But that was from Reverend Dorothy Bulwer, who is our managing editor. And she said that she was crying and praying with you. I don't see the comment any longer. But again, that's just because of the overwhelming amount of people who are pouring out their love and their hearts for you and for Jade and for your family. Before we wrap, again, just for the people tuning in, tell us again how we can join this fight.
Well, Justice for Jade, there are people here in West Palm Beach that I really want to thank. Lelouch and Miss X, they started doing protests and stuff. They're going to do a vigil, a candlelight vigil for next week. So they have been real instrumental in the West Palm Beach effort. Marcy from the Flywire and E-Kane have been helping me in Baltimore. I love everybody for that. One of the things we can do is just keep pressing or calling now, because now I'm going to move to more drastic measures, and that is flooding the mayor's office with phone calls, flooding the police department with phone calls, because my certified letters that they signed for have gone unanswered. All my phone calls to the police department have gone unanswered. The fact that they have lawyers now talking to my lawyer, and they stopped communicating with my lawyer. My lawyer first was talking to the Deputy Chief Morris, and all of a sudden he calls one day and the lawyer calls him back and says they are now represented by counsel, so no more talking to them. I was like, wow. I was like, that to me, that says a lot. That says a whole lot. And for everybody to think this is just, they put out a video and edited the video so it looked like everybody would just say, "Oh, that's what it was. She was just, they tried and she's gone away." I could have dealt with her passing in the back seat of the car on the way to the hospital. I could have dealt with her passing in the emergency room. But if she's on the way to the hospital, and instead of you leading her to the hospital, you snatch her out the car, and you forgot to not edit that and take that off, it shows you snatching her out of the car where she was in the car on her way to the hospital.
3 minutes away.
That right there is she's in your custody now. Make sure she gets the attention or the help she needs. Don't try to act like on that you're doing something that you're not really doing. And if you did everything you're supposed to do, just give me all the unedited video. I'll get up the road. But if you can't give me the unedited video, I'm gonna be like my grandmother used to say, that thorn in your side that's not gonna go away. You know, you're not gonna just pull me out and pluck me off and tell me beat it, because I'm not that guy. I'm not built like that. So when I say they got the right one, they got the right one. I'm not that parent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna live with this for the rest of my life. And if they want me to go away, unless they want to live with me for the rest of their life, I mean, and every single one of them, unless they want to live with me for the rest of their life, they need to go ahead and just send me the video, because I'm not going nowhere. I don't care how many years it takes. As long as I got breath in my body, I'm going to be here to get the proper information that I was promised. I was promised this information. I was promised the video once they reviewed it. And for them to stop, to not, after they review it, to get lawyers, I want to see what they saw.
Right. You know, I again just want to say that we are praying for you and your family. We are wrapping our arms all around you. This is so unfair. It's so unjust. And I cannot imagine as a parent just the weight that you're carrying every day, the weight that her mom is carrying every day, the weight that your entire family is carrying every day. But again, I just want to commend you, saying that, you know what, we are, first of all, saying thank you for being out there, and thank you so much for fighting for justice for Jade, but also tell you that we are here for you. We love you, and we are wrapping our arms around you. And our entire Afro family is definitely doing that. All of our viewers are definitely doing that. Please keep us up to date, whether that's us going live at the vigil, at the candlelight vigil. We're going to keep telling her story. We're going to keep telling your story and your progress. I mean, you've already been there almost 2 weeks, and so little has been done. We will be following this story until the book is closed, and it doesn't look like that we have even turned the next chapter until they can give you what you're looking for.
Well, I appreciate that. I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Radio Nation DJs, my radio family, and people in TV, and people that in Baltimore and the surrounding areas. Well, not just Baltimore, because I've had people from New York, California hit me. I just want to thank everybody in West Palm Beach. I thank you all, but I'm here and I want justice for Jade. That's it.
We all want justice for Jade. Like you said, the way that they treat our Black and brown people in general, we've been seeing Black Lives Matter, Brown Lives Matter, and we see time and time again that is discarded. So we will say her name, and we will say justice for Jade. And we're fighting with you for sure. Thank you so much for your transparency. And just know that we are here for you and continuing to support you, and we're fighting as well.
Misha, thank you very much. And much love to the impeccable Kevin Peck. I appreciate my brother from another mother. So my bald head brother, I appreciate him.
Yes, no, he definitely has been pushing this, and he's actually how the Afro even became aware of this story from the very beginning. He has been pushing justice for Jade. And again, I'm not a parent, and I can't imagine being in this situation right now. But I think as a father, to see how these other fathers have come and supported you and wrapped their arms around you, Black dads get such a bad rap, and look at what Konan is doing out here, guys. We have to fight with them. Justice for Jade.
Oh, Lord, this is tough. But I wouldn't wish this on anybody. But I just thank y'all. I really do. I really do. And the bad thing about this is all her dreams that she had are gone with her now. And nobody ever know what they were. That's it.
I like I said, as much as we can, let's put those out there. You know, it touched me. I told you on the phone the other day, the picture of her in her arabesque dance move just that in of itself was so touching for me. But we're gonna make sure her legacy stays alive, and we're gonna keep fighting for her for sure.
Well, I want to thank everybody at Baltimore School of the Arts too, and before I get out, and Johns Hopkins, because I am working on something with Johns Hopkins to have her memory everlasting there, with helping other parents and teens and kids that are going through stuff in life, whether it's anxiety, depression, opioids, or whatever. And that'll be something down the road. But Baltimore School of the Arts, the principal and everyone there, I mean, he drove to our house to drop off flowers and stuff. So, I mean, all her family and friends at Baltimore School of the Arts and Annapolis High School, they've all been very supportive. Oh, and I want to say, I'm glad I remember this. Serena Miller, who started her change.org thing, I didn't even know about it. I came across it, and she's just like, "We all love Jade." She said, and the great thing about people knowing that injustice is being done, the majority of her friends that are helping me fight, and the majority of the people here in West Palm Beach are white.
Mm.
They know that there's something wrong with the system. They know, and that just warms my heart. I mean, it says a lot about what's happening in this country, and all these people that will be up for re-election in 3 to 4 years in West Palm Beach and every place else, if they're not doing their job, they need to go. One vote matters.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and definitely we're pushing that, guys. Get out the vote. Go out and vote, and make your voices heard. But like I said, we're going to keep screaming from the mountaintops, justice for Jade. And thank you again for your transparency. Just want to make sure nobody had any questions that I missed before we wrap.
I'll answer any questions. I know we probably run out of time, but any questions, I'll answer questions to the best of my ability if necessary. I'll do that.
No, let me just okay, so we have
I
something.
don't want people to get it misunderstanding and think that what the video they saw was the right video, because that video was so doctored and so edited up. It is crazy. I mean, I know that some of the stuff they were putting out on social media saying they're in touch with the family and everything's fine. No, they're not. No, they're not. They've been ignoring the family, and they've been talking through their lawyer. I know one of the things they have somebody probably sitting at the police station putting out this stuff saying, "Oh, we've talked to the family. We're in touch with the family." No, that's not the case.
Right.
Their lawyer is talking to our lawyer, and if they're in touch with the family, ask them why haven't the family got the cell phone back. This happened on June 28th. No cell phone, no autopsy, no toxicology, none of my letters replied to, ignore me. No. So don't fall for the divide and conquer stuff.
Absolutely. And they're just people who are again throwing out their support, not saying direct questions. But I will say, just again, keeping Jade's memory alive. Sharon Lewis says, "We are praying for you and the family. We met her when she was a pretty on the move go young lady." Again, thank you, Sharon, for tuning in. Sham says, "Stay tuned for details on NetSuite's candlelight vigil in West Palm Beach. Please share and repost accordingly." And of course, Sham, well, we have your social media here, but Konan, can you just say your social media as well? And we'll of course drop it in the comments so that people can share it. And like I said, the Afro can definitely go live and share the visual as well.
All right. My social media on Instagram and Twitter is I AM Konan 11. That's I am Konan 11. And on Facebook, it is I am Konan on air. So those are my social media, and you can DM me. I'm blessed. I'm a regular person. This is just unbelievable to me. I would have never thought in a million years that I would be dealing with something like this, or going through something like this, or finding out that, in this day and time, police are the way they are. My uncle was a police, but he was an officer-friendly police. He would go to schools, talk to kids, hang out, and get to know the people in the neighborhood. It's a different day and time now. And like the officer that was mainly involved, like I said, she came through the academy on March 25th, went on the beat on April 2nd, 2019. I know every single officer just about that was involved. I know something about them because I've been down here that long and to get enough information, because I'm not happy with the fact that there are 9 to 11 officers on the scene and you give one body cam angle. And I mean, I guess they thought we didn't know, but we do know. There's at least there's at least 8 other body cams, 8 to 9 other body cams that we should be able to see angles from that they don't want us to see.
For sure. And again, I mean, just kudos to you for being able to list these officers' names, knowing all their information, their phone numbers, their addresses. It's so sad and ridiculously heartbreaking that you have become well versed in the West Palm Beach Police Department's information like that. But just know you are being super dad, the super dad you always have been. And in this situation, that's truly all you can do. There's a lot of parents who by this time their grief would have made them give up, right? Being in those places, they would have not even been able to go to the scene. They wouldn't have been able to take that drive. And the fact that you're out there doing it and fighting the fight is so admirable, and you really are a superhero.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You guys know this is the Afro-American Newspapers, the Black Media Authority, Afro Live. This was a tough conversation and one that nobody ever wants to have. But I thank you guys for tuning in. Please continue to share this stream and Jade's story. Go on Konan's social media, share his story as well as his baby girls. And let's continue to wrap our arms around his family, give him good vibes, give his family good vibes, and let's remind the world that Black and brown lives do matter.